So, more writing equations today. Shh, quiet. Remember, if you have a slope and you have the y-intercept, you can write any equation. Any linear equation is y equals mx plus b, and if they give you m and b, all you got to do is you got to know where they go. They go in for m and b. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. Couple things, shortcuts to remember. If they give you a point and say the slope is 0. 0 is a horizontal line, right?
Yeah.
And if it crosses through 3/4 down, it's going to be right there. So, if the slope is 0, it crosses the x-axis, it's going to just be x equals, oops, sorry, I put the wrong one. It crosses the y-axis. Y equals negative 4. If there is no slope, that means it's vertical. So it crosses through 4/1 up, and it's vertical. That one crosses the x-axis at 4, so it's going to be just x equals 4. So if you can remember those, it saves you time than having to figure out what b is, which you could do that way also. Okay? So, today's stuff is like the 2 assignments ago, except it's going to be with perpendicular lines. So, if 2 lines are perpendicular, what do you know how their slopes compare to each other?
They're like they're inverted.
Reciprocal and opposite signs. If one slope is 3, the other one would be negative 1/3. One's got to be positive, one negative, because one's going up, the other's going down, and they got to be reciprocals of each other. So, here we've got line R1 as an equation of y equals 3x plus 5. The slope is 3. Find an equation of line R2 that passes through this point and it's perpendicular to that line. So, just like the other assignment, they gave us this equation, all we use it for is the slope. Before we did parallel lines which had the same slope, but now since they're perpendicular, what slope would we use? No, if it's parallel you use the same slope.
Oh, the 1/3.
The negative reciprocal. They got to be opposite signs and they got to be reciprocals of each other. So then we do it exactly the same way we did. We have to find b. So that's why they give us this point, and we now know what the slope is. So we use y equals mx plus b. We put y in for y. M we know has to be negative 1/3 because it's perpendicular to that, so you put that in for m. X is 3 plus b, and then you solve it. Negative 1/3 times 3 is negative 1. So then you add 1, and you get 2 equals b. So then my equation would be y equals m x plus b, which is 2. Exact same as that other assignment, except with perpendicular lines now instead of parallel lines.
Basically the same, right?
It's basically the same. So here they give us an equation, and we got to find the equation of the line passing through the given point perpendicular to that line. So this slope right here is negative 1. So we've got to use the negative reciprocal. Now 1 is the only number that's a reciprocal of itself. Because 1/1 is 1, and then when you reciprocal it, you still get 1/1. The difference is remember, they got to have opposite signs. So we've gotta use 1 for our slope. Then this is x, that's y. So you put -4 in for y, because we gotta figure out what b is. 1 in for m, 0 in for x, plus b. 1 times 0 is 0, so b is -4.
Yeah.
So my equation is y equals 1x, or just x, minus 4. Here, this slope is 1/4, so what slope do we gotta use?
4.
Close?
-4.
-4, because you gotta have opposite sides.
Nice.
So, this is x, that's y. Plug them into y equals mx plus b in order to figure out what b is. So, y is -2. M, we have to use -4. X is 2 plus b. So -4 times 2 is -8. So we just add 8 and we get 6 equals b. So the equation is y equals -4x plus 6. Okay. You want to do some more?
So it's 1, if it's 1/4, you do the opposite, which is -4?
Yeah, because perpendicular lines, the slopes have to be reciprocals and opposites. Because when you graph, one line's going up, which is positive, and the other one's got to go down in order to form a 90. So they have to
All we're
have,
doing today is perpendicular.
huh?
We're doing perpendicular.
Today's just perpendicular, yep.
So it always has to be the opposite, so if it was like -8, I can positive.
Yes.